going on, people? It's that dude named Dave chiming in live and direct with the Jump Off podcast. If you're watching the video, you can see I'm the one with the striped gray and white sweater on right now. And if you see my man on the other side here with the big bubble goose down vest or whatever he's rocking with the Bears hat, that's my man JD. What's poppin', JD?
Not much, man. Doing the video jump off thing this time. It's got me energized, ready to go, man. I like it.
Oh, you ready to go? It's good to see you though, because normally when we do the shows, it's all audio, people. So depending on if you listen to the audio, if you're watching the video on the website or on YouTube, whatever the case may be, we normally do audio, so we got to be like Jedi Knights, Jedi Masters, to try to feel, what he's going to say, what I'm going to say, DSI, and things of that nature. Now I get to see him. I know how to interact properly because he lives in Iowa and I'm here to shine,
It always adds sort of a different vibe when you crank the camera on for the first time. So it's a little bit different. It's weird to see you actually visually react to the things I say and all the little stuff that we normally don't get. So I'm excited, man. It's gonna be cool to keep bringing the fans this for everybody. And at the end of 2013, jumping into 2014. So had to do something new. I'm broadcasting live from the basement of the Dorsey house. So you might Iowa. If you see a ghost or something go by, don't worry about it. They're cool.
You got ghosts in Iowa, man?
I'm not in Iowa. I'm in my basement.
Yeah, your basement is a house in Iowa.
In Illinois, sir.
Okay. You say Illinois, I say Iowa. We agree to disagree. Anyways, let me send apologies to the Jump Off fans. We have not dropped the show since it's like that now.
We can do that now.
People, if you are listening on audio, you need to watch the video because JD is a son of a bitch right now. But anyway, you're still my brother. You're still my man.
No doubt.
But I just want to say an apology to our fans. We have not dropped the show in about a month or so. It's the holidays. You know how things go on, people. So we are out here, spend time with our families. Work got in the way, but here we are. We want to do a show to end the year off, end it off right. So here we are, me and JD. I don't know where Jeff's at. I think I fired him again. But he don't get no severance package. Just hope he's listening. He's watching. He sees this. He don't get paid if he don't come back to work next week. That's how it goes down. So Blacksmith, you want to notice that, matter of fact, we'll just put the pink slip at his front door. I live right by him. I was going to put a little pink slip, and it says fired.
I was going to say, we collecting holiday pay right about now. So, we should be good to go.
He's black. We're going to do him like the regular black folks get done all the years, Just say, hey, have a nice life.
Damn.
That's kind of foul, ain't it? Okay, I'm not going to do it. We got love for you, Blacksmith. But anyways, this is your first time watching this. You check us out at thejumpoffpodcast.com. It's the website. And the main way that talk to us is we'll interact with us on a daily basis. In the group page on the Jump Off Podcast, we got a whole slew of people. We got people going to come and join the page every single day now. Out of nowhere. We're not even dropping as many shows, JD, but more people want to join in on the fun now. I'm talking to people I've never been talked to before the last 2 or 3 weeks. I'm like, who's this cat that came on the page? They looking at me like, who are you? I started the page. Who are you? So I don't know who you are. So, it's great to meet new people now, so interact with us. That's the best way.
Yeah,
you got anything you want to say, JD, before we get into it?
Facebook.com, go in your search bar, type in the Jump Off Podcast. You should be able to, get a chance to invite yourself in and be right there. And, jump in on all the fun because it's cool. We don't just talk about, comedy stuff. We hit people with real issues and stuff too. So, and then too, whoever's on the page, you can feel free to jump in too. Just if you find something interesting or, something that you want to talk about or you think that would be a good discussion topic, you can always put it on there. And believe me, we'll all chime in at some point. We have a really cool community of people who like to talk and discuss things on there. So, feel free. Like I said, go to facebook.com, log in like you normally would, and then type in the search bar, the Jump Off Podcast, and you should be able to find us.
Shout out to Tito, because he's a Green Bay fan. Unfortunately, our Bears lost to him in Green Bay the other night. We'll get into that. JD is still rocking the Bears hat. That's showing, that's support. That's Chi-Town love there. After a demoralizing loss like that, you still rocking the hat, son.
Yeah, man, I had to rock it today. It's sort of in memoriam, but, I had to rock it today.
It's like a funeral, It's like you weren't all black. I just noticed that there. You're like black or dark blue, whatever it is. You're like in, deep.
I'm in bare colors today, you know.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I was thinking about coming on here topless, but, you know, I ain't going to do that yet.
Not
yet.
Brother,
yeah.
This show would last 5 seconds if you done that.
2014, turn up. Get naked. What?
Turn up.
What?
So here's what I want to talk about, JD. Since we're actually recording this on December 30th, so tomorrow will be New Year's Eve, actually. So this is the year of sports right now. So I want to ask you, what were your highlights of 2013?
Overall,
throw you on the spot. Something that, or you want me to go first since I threw you on the spot right now?
Yeah, you go first. Let me piggyback a little bit because I got to think about that for a second.
Well, this has been a great year in sports. First of all, like everybody knows, I'm a diehard Chicago fan, thick and thin. You know, fuck the Cubs, but White Sox, Bears and Bulls. So that's you, JD. That's right. No North Side love over here.
Thanks.
Anyways.
Thanks.
Yeah, and both the baseball teams sucked this year, so it really don't matter, right? But Miami repeated this year. LeBron James got his second championship, so I thought that was very significant, knowing that everybody was riding him for years, and he had the implosion in the finals 2 years ago, and here he is now. He's a 2-time champion now. Miami's on the quest for a 3rd championship and having a good start to this season right now. The Baltimore Ravens win the Super Bowl against San Fran when all the lights went out at the Super Bowl. I mean, all the jokes about the Super Bowl, the NFL not paying their light bill. I mean, a $9 billion industry and the lights go out, And I don't know if you saw Ray Lewis with his conspiracy theories talking about, the lights go out. I'm not going to say nothing, but I'm saying something. And then Ray Lewis turns the way he said it. Also, boxing. You know me, JD. You're in fighting as well, MMA, kick up and makeup. You're doing a good job, you and Nick. By the way, love what you guys are doing. On the boxing front, it was a great year in boxing. Everybody thought that with Golden Boy Promotions getting kicked out of HBO and then basically being banished to Showtime, we got HBO putting on, even though they didn't have the big-time names, bringing up the up-and-coming fighters. They may not be up-and-coming who they are, but as far as the general public. And Showtime had the established fighters, and all we had was great fights month after month after month compared to previous. It was one of the best years in boxing, I gotta say, in a long time. Even though we had the Cold War, hey, I was glued almost every Saturday. My girl was not liking the fact that it was Saturday night, and I told her, hey, the DVR, we're gonna watch it later, we'll watch it now. The choice is yours. So, I mean, those are my highlights right now for 2013. What about you? Did you get a chance to think about what you
yeah, I mean, we've had the only thing that I sort of could add to that is, from my MMA perspective is, we had a pretty big year in that sport too, just to see the growth of all the divisions and especially women's MMA, which has really rose to the forefront of everybody's mind over the past year or so. Just big things coming as far as MMA is concerned. You got so many different leagues, and even on the amateur level, there's a lot of talent in the amateur level and the local promotional level. So it's just cool to see. It's one of those things where the sport is going to continue to grow. I hope people have finally gotten over the boxing versus MMA and have realized that you can be happy and support both. So, yeah, man.
Exactly. I was watching UFC this Saturday, Jay.
Yes.
I wanted to see we'll get to that second. I wanted to see the rematch with Silver Rodman. I wanted to see Ronda Rousey with her stuck-up fine ass. In your words, then you call her, and I quote, a bitch. But you still love that bitch.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But you know how much I love boxing, but I wanted to tune in. It's like you said, there's no competition. You don't gotta say, oh, it's this or this. It's either that or nothing. No. If there's good fights being put on, and I'm into action fights, whether it's boxing with the skill of the sweet science, or MMA when they use judo, or wrestling, grappling, whatever it may be, if they have good matches that are properly done with right matching between two fighters, I'm down for it. People should not be like, oh, MMA taking over boxing. Like, no. We all can live together in harmony. We can watch a UFC fight one Saturday night. We can go the next night, next weekend, watch an HBO Showtime. What's up?
There you go.
Yeah. So let's get into that's the little highlights there. Let's get into we're from Chicago. Well, you're technically not Chicago anymore, but your family's still out here, JD.
Of course.
And the heartbreaking Bears, the Green Bay Packers game. Like, when I found out that Aaron Rodgers was green light to play Sunday, a part of me said, Green Bay is going to win. Just keep the expectations low, Dave. Don't bring them up. Keep them down here. Keep them below your balls, right? Keep them that low. Keep it midget status, mid-eye
below
status.
ball level.
That low. Yeah, blue balls level, because it may not be pretty, So I'm watching this game, and JD, you watched it, of course, 2 interceptions. We were like, okay, we may got something here. And I knew the game was going to be in trouble when that incomplete pass / fumble ran in for the touchdown. I didn't care how the rest of the game went. I knew that was going to bite us in the ass. Forget the 55-yard touchdown that, we really can't forget that because I literally walked out of my girlfriend's house when that happened and closed the door and went out in the cold, But how do you lose like that, JD? Answer me that question.
By having the worst defense in the league. I mean, that's if the Bears had anywhere close to a middling, not even average. If they had below average and not piss poor, like if they had a 21st ranked defense, they would be a Super Bowl contender. Like it's so crazy to see that. I mean, they can't stop anybody with the run. The safety play is horrible. Conti had a chance to intercept. He got 1 interception, but he missed 2 other ones, and it's just like he was, he totally blew that last play where Rodgers threw the 55-yard touchdown. So it was, I don't know, man.
How you let the wide receiver get behind you like that?
I mean, everybody else is playing man and he was playing zone. Like you have to know what the call is. You have to know what the coverage is. Everybody else was playing man like they should have been, and Conti was playing zone and thought that he had that deep.
So you're telling me Conti said, "Fuck it, I don't care what Trestman's not. I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna play zone. I
don't necessarily think that that's what he said. I don't know if somebody misinforming him or I don't know exactly what it was.
JD.
And I mean, like, and then too,
Conti's he's been doing this all year, JD. So
right. No,
he's not that good, or he just don't give a fuck about the plays being called.
Right. No, I agree.
He's missed assignments all year long.
But one of the things that sort of got me was that, Conti, it's not like Conti's a corner. He's playing safety. So safety is the last line of defense. If you're playing safety and you let the guy run past you, who is there to stop him? If you're the safety, like, there should never be a point where the safety is letting somebody run by them. Like, the safety is the safety. You're the last.
You thinking the others? You thinking the strong safety? You're the free safety. You think the strong safety will come behind you?
Come on, man.
He's behind me. Okay. What's the name? You go ahead and cover this for me. All right. I'm gonna stay right here and play linebacker now. Cause I thought that's what I thought he was. I think he was safety. I thought he was like another linebacker in the 46 defense. Literally, the way where he was playing the field.
Yeah, so, I don't know exactly what he was thinking on that play, but and like you were saying too, I kind of felt that tide changing. Like when Marshall caught that touchdown in the fourth quarter, I was like, all right, they might actually win this game. But there was too much time left on the clock. I saw Rodgers when they couldn't convert or they couldn't stop the Packers on that first 4th down that they had. Right after that drive, I knew it was a problem. I said, oh man, here we go. Like I knew something was going to happen bad at that point. And fortunately, I kind of prepared myself for something bad to happen, so I wasn't really pissed off at the end of the game. And then too, it's like I know that they're not a Super Bowl team. Like if I felt like they were a Super Bowl team and they had legit aspirations to do well, like I would be super pissed. But they're not a Super Bowl team. They never were. If they were going to play, they'd probably get smashed even at home by the 49ers next week. But it would have been nice to see what would have happened.
We've been playing San Fran. And Frank Gore ran all over us, and then Bill ran the option, and then Kaepernick ran all over us, and then on top of that too, when the play action kicks in, they'll gone to Vernon Davis all day long. If the next we're losing 38-27, 22, I'll say in that game easily.
Yep. It would have been a repeat.
San Francisco got good defense, so it might be even worse than that. Who knows?
Yeah, it would have been close to a repeat of that Eagles game, I think.
Oh, let's not talk about the Eagles game. Please, let's not. Don't bring that game. Don't bring that up. I saw the first quarter. I turned the channel. You know what I was watching? Yep. I was watching reruns of Love and Hip Hop. That's how bad that game was. I was watching Love and Hip Hop and watching how Peter Guns with his messy love triangle, where he married his artist and still was trying to live with his baby mama. That's how I feel about that Bears game.
Yeah, that's kind of creepy.
I mean, I tell you guys, and everybody who's watching and listening right now, I need ratchetness in my life. All right. Every once in a while, I need to make sure that my life is actually halfway decent. So I turn on the TV, watch a little bit of ratchetness. So when that happens, I'm like, oh man, life ain't that bad because you see these problems here, even though some of it can be made up, some of it is true. Like, man, life ain't that bad right now.
True,
you know, it could be worse. I could be on Love and Hip Hop looking like a punk right now, you know?
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Nah. So you know what though, I mean, much I love the Bears. They've been hurting me, but you know, at least there's a silver lining with the offense. You know, Alshon Jeffrey, I don't know how he got stumped for the Pro Bowl, but I know he'll make it as an alternate. Someone's going to drop out, and I know he'll get it, but that shouldn't even be the case. Him and Marshall deserve to be on the Pro Bowl together, not just Marshall himself. Right. The fact that the great pickup in the tight end in Bennett was huge. I know he's happy, even though they make the playoffs this year. I know he's happy in Chicago compared to how bad the Giants are, because man, he couldn't get a pass to him because Eli Manning throwing interceptions left and right this year. I don't know where he was throwing. I think someone told him or hypnotized him like in Office Space, like you're gonna throw to the defense all year. He's like, sure.
And it's funny how Eli has had like the polar opposite season of his brother, who is setting records for touchdowns, and then you got Eli setting records for interceptions.
JD.
Yeah.
Perfect segue. I mean, Peyton Manning broke the record for passing yards and touchdowns this year. He threw for 55 touchdowns. He threw for 5,500 yards this year.
Yep, his new nickname is Speed Limit.
Speed Limit? That's what you call him now?
Yep. That's all me.
What'd you think about Peyton Manning this year, man?
I mean, it's really a great comeback story because so many people, including myself, doubted him last year when he was trying to come back from the neck surgery, and to see him come back last year, be successful, and then this year even go up a bigger notch. That Denver team has a lot of offensive talent, but it's not overwhelmingly talented. Like, he's taken some of those guys and, turning them into legit stars. And I mean, you can't do anything but, give him props for doing that. And it's crazy to see him at the age that he is, that he's the, probably best quarterback in the game. And, if I had to go out on a limb and pick, they'd be my Super Bowl pick as of right now too.
What I want to piggyback what you just said, JD, about how he's making guys superstars. He's been doing that his entire career. Remember Austin Collie?
True.
Where's Austin Collie at now? And when he had Peyton Manning, we was like, oh snap, he gonna come up. He got another weapon. We don't know where that dude's at anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, he is just so great. He knows where you want the ball at. He knows he knows the windows. He doesn't have the biggest arm like Jay Cutler we have in Chicago here. He just knows how to release it at a certain point and get it there where it needs to be at the right time without having to bullet through, that small little window. He's just great at timing. And if you know your wide receiver is better than anybody else, and then you know the defense, what they're doing when you get to a line of scrimmage, and you can change the play like that, and he's been doing this whole entire career. Man, and on top of last year, he had 37 touchdowns last year, and that was a great year after 4 neck surgeries. And to come back and have 55 touchdowns this year makes no sense. I mean, he's working his way up. Of course, we always call him the greatest regular season quarterback of all time right now as he's playing. But he's working on the yardage where I think if he can stay healthy, he'll be number one in almost every single statistical stat that's going to be out there right now. I mean, give him about 3 or 4 more years at this rate right now. Even if he drops off next year, a drop off could be 4,500 yards next year, and that's a damn good year. So you're going for Denver to win it all this year, you're saying?
Yeah, well, I'll go for them to make it to the Super Bowl and be the AFC choice. My second choice is the Colts. I really think the Colts are going to make some noise. They're kind of my sleeper dark horse team if I had to pick one, but I think they're going to make a little bit of noise.
My face right now. The Colts?
Yes, sir. The Colts.
Even without the wide receiver who just went down for Frisco, who's in the Reggie Wayne?
Yep.
No Reggie Wayne for the playoffs, and you're going with them.
I like their squad. Like I said, it'd be a dark horse pick. I like, I really like, Luck. I think he's a great quarterback. And I really think that
a great quarterback already?
What?
Did I hear right? You said Luck's a great quarterback already?
Oh, definitely. He's a top 10. He's a top tenner.
Have you been watching his games this year? You talking about him great this year?
Yes.
The dude's one of the most. He's been so inconsistent this year.
Okay. And watch. What?
Wait, you gonna start rapping? Well, believe me and watch. Huh? What, you Trinidad James now?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
He's the most inconsistent not most, but as far as like up and coming quarterbacks, besides Robert Griffin, RG3. Oh my God, that's a whole other soap opera saga. We need to dedicate a whole show to RG3, and the Redskins.
Yeah.
But he's been so inconsistent this year, even when he had Reggie Wayne, and his stats has really fallen off Reggie Wayne. So I don't even see with the home field advantage that they're not going to go very far at all. It's going to be between Denver and New England. I hate to say this. I hate New England. I hate them with a passion. It's New England and Denver. The Colts, I'm sorry, my friend. I'm Xing you out. Degeneration XX. You know what I'm saying? It ain't happening for the Colts. I can't ride with you there.
Man, I'm
sorry.
Like I said, dark horse team. I really like the way that they played towards the end of the year. And like I said, I think Luck is a legitimate top 10 quarterback. I think next year when they get him another weapon, they really need another solid weapon, whether that's through free agency or whether that's through the draft, but they need another solid free agency or another solid weapon on offense. The Trent Richardson trade hasn't really worked out exactly how they wanted it to, especially with losing that pick. But yeah, and there's no way.
You can see why Cleveland did that deal.
Right.
They were selling high.
Right, and there's no way. There's no way that you would have told me watching, seeing him in college that he would be the running back that he is today. He has so much. He has a lot of talent, and he has all the measurables. He should be good, but there has to be something else going on that a lot of people, don't know about that's keeping him from being and playing up to his potential. Because, man, he was a beast in college, and I don't quite understand how and why he isn't putting it together right now.
When I had question marks about him when he got drafted to Cleveland, the great Jim Brown said he ain't special. I don't know why we drafted him. Yeah. He said it right there. It was firestorm. And when Jim Brown, arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest running back of all time, and he's still in Ohio. He's still in the hood. He's still rolling the gangsters. He's still trying to put them guns down at his old age. And he still got mind, body, and spirit when it comes to football. And when he said right after he was drafted, there's nothing special about this guy. They made a bad choice. In the back of my head, I kept saying, man, is Jim Brown hating on this dude? Or is this dude really not that good? And he had close to 1,000 yards last year, 900 yards on a bad team. So, that's not bad. But, Cleveland knew what they had. They said, this dude is not worth it. We need to start from scratch. Who would give us a first-round pick? We don't care what in the first round. Just give us any first-round pick. The Colts bit. Man, that first-round pick will be kind of nice this year right now than Trent Richardson right now because matter of fact, he got benched for, what's the other running back, the other light-skinned dude on their squad. I can't think of his name right now. I had him on my fantasy league team like 3 years ago when he got like 400 yards every year because I was desperate on the waiver wire. Donald, I can't think of his name right now. I'm drawing a blank. His name is Donald, though. He has a Donald's in his name. But how you get benched by a dude who averages like 400 or 500 yards every year? It's bad for him. So
yeah,
that was a bad trade.
And
but
speaking,
you're thinking. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, speaking of bad trades, how do you feel, or what do you think about the prospects of the RG3 deal that went down in order for the Redskins to draft him because they're not even going to get their pick this year because they had to give it up in that trade, man. And that's going to be
number 2. That would have been the number 2 pick this year. It would have been, and that's going to the up and coming Rams.
I know.
The Rams did right. They can go ahead and get themselves a quarterback now. I don't know, it's not going to be it's not a great quarterback draft, but you don't got to worry about spending top dollar for the new collective bargain agreement. But even if they don't want to go quarterback, they may want to ride it out with Sam Bradford, another year, and get yourself another top blue chipper at number 2 pick. But man, RG3. Oh my God! And on top of that, too, I recorded today. They fired Shanahan today, and he was trying to get fired like the last month, Jada. He was like, Man, I don't even deal with this. I got $7 million guaranteed next year. I don't want to fuck up RG3. This dude don't want to listen to me and his ugly ass braids. Just go ahead and get him dreaded up or let it be in the afro. Why braid him up, RG3? I don't want to fuck with you no more. Fire me. And you know what's inspired? He finally fired him. You know, I mean, the soap opera that was going on all in for week 1. Man, he looked horrible this year. Why would you want to rush something like that?
Right.
It's one thing in basketball, but why football are you going to rush an ACL injury?
Yeah, and I mean, you have to give him credit for trying to be there for his team, trying to do as much as he could to sort of give the team a boost, but it was apparent that he could have used the extra, 2 months to get himself ready. And man, even if he would have came back after their bye week or something like that, he might have been able to give the team a real boost, but especially initially, he was out there hobbling, and to see him get beat up like he got beat up, man, and it makes you think like, it makes you wonder if he's ever going to get back to where he was at before. Whereas if he would have, taken his time, he might have been able to avoid some of that stuff and avoid some of the problems that he had. So it's sort of the opposite argument as opposed to the Derrick Rose situation where everybody wanted him to come back and he took too much time. So, I don't know. I guess, hindsight is always 20/20. So you always feel like, the person should have did this, that, or the other if it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to turn out. So, but yeah, I think he probably should have took a little bit more time at the very least. He could have came back this season, but took a little bit more time to get ready.
On top, it didn't help that the locker room team doesn't like RG3, JD. I mean, other teammates has called him out. Right. The way when the losses happen, even when the quarterback, they take the loss, they get all the credit and get all the blame. And he was kind of deferring in a lot of press conferences this year. Well, this happened because this here. He didn't really take a lot of ownership on the L's. And so it got to a point where there were players, teammates, who were calling him out in the media, who saying, "Hey man, you the quarterback. I understand it could be wrong if you take the L, but you got to take that L." That's how the ritual of NFL football works. The quarterback that didn't make, those guys will have your back regardless. They're gonna be there for you. And it seems like way RG3 acts, he got all these endorsements. He got Subway, Subway. You see him doing that. He got other commercials going on right now. He got the Adidas, and it made everybody gave the impression that RG3 is like a prima donna now. And on top of that, too, with that knee, is he damaged goods now, JD? I mean, I look at him possibly as damaged goods. You gave him all these draft picks. Will he be he could come back. Will he be as mobile as he is? How do you run the read option properly without hurting him? Can he learn to slide? That was his problem. He didn't like the fucking slide. Go get a baseball coach out there and run around the bases in the off season and tell him how to get down at a certain time. That's what they need to do. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens next year. Because they shut him down the last 3 weeks. So he had 3 weeks this year, and then he got the whole offseason now because they're not in the playoffs here. So let's hope for this whole offseason going into next year that, I'm not a Redskins fan, but I like to see great players. He didn't play great as rookie last year. I want to see him keep playing great. I don't want to see a flash in the pan 1 year and that's it, and it's like, what if? So hopefully he comes back,
Right. Yeah, I hope so too, man. He was electrifying that first year, and to see him hobbled and beat up the way he got beat up his second year, and it's kind of discouraging. So I hope he's able to bounce back.
Yeah. Before we close on football talk here, you mentioned the AFC. What about the NFC? What about the Seattle Seahawks? Think they can win it all this year? You can't go into Seattle and win. I mean, they lost their first game in 2 years the other week, but in the playoffs, that crowd is so loud that you can't hear nothing. I mean, in Seattle, in this weather too. I mean, it's not even a dome. They got rain this time of the year. It's gonna be, you don't think the Seattle can go all the way?
Not that I don't think that they can go all the way.
I have my fantasy league team.
Yeah, I think, man, if you had to press me, there's no team that I really, 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 really like in the NFC. I like Seattle. I think they're good. I think Carolina is fake. I don't think they'll be that good this year. Even though their defense
not fake, though,
I was gonna say their D line is sick. Fake. Their D line is sick.
That defense ain't there.
I'm not a big Cam Newton fan. I think that he's good enough. No.
You like Superman?
No, too much. Yeah, but and then too, as far as Seattle goes, I'm not a big Pete Carroll fan either. Like, I just think dude's an asshole.
Pete Carroll. Hard body DSI.
No.
Yeah. Why not? Because of USC?
Yes. Like, even going back to his USC days, I didn't like him. I just don't like his attitude, and he's a little too fired up on the sideline. Like, just like that's the
what
same.
You want your coach to be. He's one of the guys, JD.
I don't have to have that. Like, just like Jim Schwartz, the fired Lions coach today. I can't stand that shit. That's a whole different ballgame with Schwartz. I don't like that when you're all like rah rah and jumping up and down and shit. Like, fuck that, man. Like, I
like it. If you have your pads on and your coach is more amped than you, that should tell you I need to be amped too. Pete's up here and getting turned up. I need to get turned up right now. It's the first quarter, the third, only 2 minutes into the game he's jumping up. I'd be like, man, Pete turned up. I gotta find a way I get myself turned up. Coach, I need the ball.
I mean,
Marshawn Lynch, that's a real dude right there, man. Come on. You can't tell me you don't fuck with Marshawn Lynch, man.
Yeah, I do. I think they got a good team.
Him and the Skittles have it. Come on now.
Yeah, I know. I think they have a good team. I guess if I got pressed, I'd have to pick them for the Super Bowl, but nobody really does it for me. Nobody in the NFC does it for me. The Saints, they're suspect as always, because if they get caught playing outside of their dome, I think they're vulnerable. The Niners, I still like the Niners. I still think that they'll be able to turn it on. If I had to make a guess, I don't even know how the seeds line up, but if I had to make a guess of at least my two favorite teams in the NFC are definitely Seattle and the Niners, even though I don't like Carroll that much, and I don't really like the Niners.
You're just a hater, JD.
Stop
hating on Pete Carroll.
A little bit.
He gets the job done.
I like what's the quarterback?
He gets the job done.
What's the quarterback? Russell?
Yeah, Russell Wilson, man.
Yeah, man. I'm a big fan of Russell Wilson, though.
Man, hustling, bustling, my man, running down the field, Wilson. Come on now.
Oh yeah, and
dude, like 5'9", doing it.
Yeah, and I really like quarterbacks. Like, he's mobile, but he's not a speedster. Like, I like guys who are able to be outside of that box, especially for black quarterbacks. I know he's mixed, but one drop does it. Black
quarterback. I know he's mixed. But.
Right. But just to see a black quarterback who's more so thought of as a cerebral quarterback, as an intelligent quarterback, as opposed to the Cam Newton, the RG3 athletic quarterback. And not to say that Russell doesn't have isn't an athlete, but he's not nearly on that level of athleticism as RG3 and Cam, but. Just to see him out there being successful and working with what he has. He doesn't have the strongest arm. He's short as hell, but he's able to get it done. And man, I dig that about him. So if there's one person that I was pulling for, on that squad, it'd definitely be him.
Okay. Let's switch lanes here. That's enough NFL talk here, because our squad's out of it right now. Let's go to NBA.
Uh-oh.
And yeah, I know. It's kind of rough right now. We die-hard people. If it's first time watching, of course, or listening, we die-hard Bulls fans. Me and JD have had many arguments on Bulls moves, deals, what we should do, what we shouldn't do. And this year, it's like heartbreaking this year. There's so many expectations with a healthy team, and right now, we're ninth in the Eastern Conference right now, which means we're in the damn lottery if it ended today. Without the ping pong balls, I went through the whole schedule. I mean, like the standings, Eastern Western Conference. We would be ninth right now without the ping pong balls. And on top of that, too, in the Eastern Conference, they're saying this is probably the worst conference right now ever in basketball. Only 3 teams are above 500, JD. Only 3 teams. The other teams, other 5 are below 500. You got teams in the Western Conference who are above 500 that's not even in the playoff hunt right now.
Right.
Right. And with the Bulls, we lost D. Rose to the meniscus tear. Butler's been in and out of the lineup. Luol Deng's been in and out of the lineup. Noah's hurt early in the season right now. We had to sign J.J. Augustine because, Marcus Teague's not working out right now. We should have traded him to Utah when Utah won them earlier this year.
Right.
So let's go on the record officially right now, knowing this Bulls team. Should we just start? It's hard to say this, but should we start tanking?
Bro. You already know my answer to this. As soon as D Rose went down, I was in for the tank. Like it.
You was able to take?
Yes, as soon as D-Rose went down, because the way I feel, and this is kind of stealing something from one of the guys I listen to on the radio all the time, but if you don't have an opportunity to win a championship, you need to do whatever you can to better those odds at a championship. So once Derek went down, your best odds at winning a championship were to get bad and hopefully luck into a decent draft pick where you can select somebody who's going to be able to help your team. There's no other way around it. If you can trade Dang, you need to trade Dang. I love Noah, but if the right type of deal came up and I was able to get somebody young, I would probably let him go too, even though he'd be on.
Noah, man.
I was gonna say if the right deal came up, the only reason I say this, Noah is a great basketball player. I love his personality. I love his heart. I love what he brings to the team. But Noah is gonna be hurt every year, and the Bulls have enough injury-prone players at this point that I don't think that they can be able to withstand losing Noah and having him in and out of the lineup all the time. And I know you're rolling the dice on whoever you're going to get, but that would be one of my reasons for possibly letting him go. But let me make one more point real quick.
Go ahead.
The one person who I had the biggest beef with, well, it's two people or three people. The three people I had the biggest beef with as far as the Chicago Bulls go are John Paxson, Gar Forman, John Paxson, Gar Forman, and Tom Thibodeau. I'm sorry. They have to, I don't know whose fault it is, but Jimmy Butler in the last game, I think it was Saturday, played 46 minutes in a game where the Bulls got blasted. Why are you playing him 46 minutes when you know that this dude has a bad will? And
that's not Paxson. That's Thibodeau, JD.
No.
Let's be honest about that.
Okay, this is why I say the blame needs to go to Paxson or Gar Forman too, because they're allowing him to do that bullshit. I don't care if your coach is deciding that, hey, I need to run this dude into the ground, even though you know he's hurt. If your coach is deciding to do that, you need to get rid of the fucking coach. I know Tom Thibodeau is a great coach. I love him. I think that he's a good coach for a regular season team, but man, at a certain point in time, somebody there needs to take the blame and accept that, okay, these dudes are hurt and they're getting run into the fucking ground. Like, somebody has to tell him. Somebody has to say something to him and be like, dude, like, you can't, if Butler's out there hurt, and maybe it's the medical staff of the Bulls too, because if they're clearing these guys, Thibodeau has said, okay, if they clear them, I'm just going to take them as they're healthy 100% and run them into the ground. At a certain point, you have to figure out that, man, I cannot do this. Like, it's not helping anything to have him out there busting his butt just to get hurt even more. And especially in a lost season like we're in the middle of right now. Yeah.
I got to answer for you this year, because you can't really blame Paxson, because, as you know, there's not very much content between Thibodeau and the front office.
And maybe this is one of the reasons why.
They did not get along. They have not been getting along last year and a half when he tried to go through his contract extension. You know, they started there. And then, of course, when the Bulls fired, Ron Adams, the assistant coach, who was the lead assistant, basically. There's a disconnect now. The problem is that Thibodeau was in the first year of his deal. I can't remember. He's in the second year of his 4-year deal. No, he's in the first year of his deal, of his new deal now. He's been with the team already for 3+ years. Mm-hmm. So he's making decent money now, and there's already discontent. And Thibodeau is on the fence of, if the guys can play, I'm playing my guys. He did that with Luol Deng for all the years here. He got Butler available. He's going to play Butler. You know, if he's going to lose, he don't want to get blown out. He wants the game to look close. And you make a good point there, JD, right? He should be running to the ground. But when Thibodeau is comfortable with a player, he will give him the minutes like it's nobody's business. Look at Deng, leading the league in minutes for almost every year since Thibodeau took over as coach, averaging 39 minutes a game, which is miraculous, knowing that Deng's injury issues before Tom Thibodeau came to be the Bulls coach. But right. That is more on Thibodeau, and you know there's a discontent right now. The problem is you can't really fire him, because what is there any other good coaches out there? And I'm talking he's in the first year of a 4-year deal. And you know Reinsdorf, he don't like to give away free money. Right. He ain't gonna fire a dude in the first year of his deal. He's a great coach, But I think Thibodeau is trying so hard to try to manage the team together, the team players he has, and he's going about the right way. When it gets to a point where it's a blowout, just go ahead and rest these guys. Go ahead and rest them.
Yeah, I mean, and Butler was playing in the last game. They're down 20 with 3 minutes left in the game, and he's still out there. Like,
and it makes sense in hindsight now, right? Because the same thing with Derrick Rose, he's going to be towards ACL. Now, the ACL was a freak injury, but they were up by, was it 14 or 16 points with like 3 or 4 minutes left to as well. Now, you can still keep some of your starters on, but you can rest your main guys. Well, now, you can't predict the ACL because he jumped and he exploded, the knee popped, and that was it. You know, there was no contact. It happens. You know, that you can't control that. But at the same time, you can look at it and say, you're up by 14 already right now, you know. You can put him on the bench. You can keep Luol Deng on the court. You can keep Noah on the court. At least keep 2 of your 5 stars on the court right now. So there's got to be some adjustments with Thibodeau with the team that they have right now with all the injuries. But I got some things to say from what you mentioned earlier. You mentioned about trading Noah. I can't do it right now. The only way you trade Noah if you get a top 10 player in the NBA. It has to be a blockbuster deal, and it has to involve a top 10 player. Or I say that because he's a top 10 center. You know, when you get to the playoffs, he can bang with Roy Hibbert, you know. I mean, the Miami Heat have problems with him with his little post defense and then help defense, things of that nature. You know, it's hard to find a good center like that. So I would not move him unless it's a blockbuster deal, A. And B, I did a little homework here for you, JD. I got a backup plan for Noah. I got a backup plan because I'm in for the tank too. I mean, they're ninth in the East right now, right? So with my little homework I did here, what is the number one thing that we need? There's 2 things that we need, obviously. What's the number one type of player that we need right now going into next year?
In my opinion, we need a secondary scorer, somebody who has a little bit of ball handling ability and can also shoot the rock and defend a little bit. That's my opinion.
Ding, ding, ding. You're reading my mind, JD. What does he win? He gets to find out what I'm going to tell him. See, I'm in for the tank because this is one of the deepest drafts in history as far as, like, quality. Like, you'll find guys who are the 8th pick who could be the 2nd pick in other years. You're going to find guys who go 15, who will go 9 or 8 in other years, you know. The top 3 picks, like, will be Julius Randle, who's just balling right now. Wiggins, you know, there's all about potential of him because they think about 3 or 5 years. He's going to be unbelievable in the NBA game. And, of course, Jabari Parker. I mean, he's mellow and Glenn Big Dog Robinson with a head and his shoulders, basically. You know, Carmelo got a head and his shoulders, but you can tell the way he's grown up compared to Melo's upbringing. You know, a little bit different coming from B-More, you know, of Jabari Parker of his family upbringing, you know. But the Bulls are 9th right now. You said we need a wing who can dribble the ball, shoot, and defend, right? I got some wings who might be available at the 9th pick if the Bulls stay right here. You know, they don't go, you know, they'll make the playoffs. They go between 9 and they could fall to 8, 7, 6. And, you know, if they stay in their current pace right now. Gary Harris, Michigan State, shooting guard, 6'4", 210. He's 6'4", but he's 210. He's averaging 17.9 points and 4.5 rebounds and 3.2 assists a game. I like dude's game. He'd be perfect next to Derrick Rose. Another guy, you know, is kind of pushing the envelope a little bit because it's a Duke system. Rodney Hood, 6'8", plays the 2 and the 3, averaging 17.6 points, 5.5 rebounds, 2 assists a game. I like his game. He gets overshadowed because of Jabari Parker, but he's playing pretty decent this year. I don't know that he's assertive enough, you know, but when you have Derrick Rose, a healthy Derrick Rose, next to a lot of pressure for him to free flow a little bit. Another kid, young kid though, Kentucky, James Young, 6'6", 215 freshman, averaging 13.8 points a game, 4.2 rebounds a game, and 2 assists a game. I like he's young. He got legs. He's athletic. I like him. You know, you're going real young with a guy like that. But you figure with this Bulls team, this is the last year as a contender with this squad here, you know. All these guys are freshmen and sophomores. So you might as well go with a young kid, you know, and build them up, basically, in this case, because you're kind of starting all over right now. And we own Charlotte's pick. Charlotte's actually in the playoffs this year. They have the 6th seed.
Yep, so we would get it this year.
So it's lottery protected, only 10 and lower. Once 11 and higher, we own that Charlotte pick. So if they're in the playoffs, right now they'll be the 17th pick right now, which means the Bulls will get that pick in a deep draft like this. I'm looking at a center. I'm looking at Willie Cauley-Stein, Kentucky's center, 7 foot 244. 2 years in Kentucky, he's averaging 8.8 this year. He averaged 8.2 points this year. The thing about it, though, he is competing for the block record that Anthony Davis set in the 1 year that he was at Kentucky. The dude squats. He's big. He's already got an NBA body. If you get the 9th pick and the 17th pick, JD, and if you can get a player like Willie Cauley-Stein as your backup center for Noah, who's only a sophomore at 20 years old when he comes out, and then if you can get Gary Harris, Rodney Hood, or James Young, all 18, 19, or 20 years old, right then and there. And then, of course, you bring the killer from Europe. I forgot the guy's name, the small forward who's 6'10".
Power forward.
Well, he's actually a small forward. He's too small to play power forward.
He's playing the 4. I guarantee you he plays the 4.
Jay, he's playing the 4 in Europe. We're talking about NBA.
He will play the 4 in the NBA.
He will play the 3.
I'm a fan.
He's Andre Berniani upside.
Yeah, I agree with that. And he might play a little bit of 3, but I guarantee you he'll be a majority of 4. And the guy you're talking about is Nikola Mirotic.
Thank you. I can't pronounce his name. That's why I didn't say it.
Yeah,
I won't be able to pronounce it. But he would not play the 4 because Taj Gibson would be at the 4 and just start rolling. We got to get props to Taj Gibson. He played some decent ball this year.
I guarantee you that Mirotic will play more minutes at the 4 than the 3 next year. I think that Taj probably will end up starting because Taj is fucking balling this year. And, and I think Nikola will be able to come in off the bench. They'll slide Taj down to the 5 for a little bit and he'll run like that. But, I mean, dude, Nikola Mirotic is MVP of the EuroLeague last year. The game that they play in Spain is so different from the NBA. It's going to take him a little time to adjust, but you don't have to adjust his shooting.
He needs another 10 or 15 pounds.
Right. Oh, yeah, I agree. He needs an NBA weight room.
That's what I'm saying. He'll play 3 when he comes in. If he can bulk up and get that girth on him, because he's still young. I think he'd be like 21 or 22 next year if they do bring him over.
Yep.
So that's my game plan.
And that's with 3 years, of pro ball already. So, he's a rookie. But he's going to come in with a lot of experience. The only thing that makes me nervous about your plan, I agree with your plan. So I'm 100% behind your plan. But the only thing that makes me nervous is it makes me nervous that you're going to be adding so many, it'll be 3 rookies pretty much to the squad. Me, I don't care. I'd rather do that. That just makes me nervous as a fan that it's going to take them that adjustment period. You're not going to get off the bus running and all that stuff. But
that's true. But we built this team to be a championship contender. Derrick Rose went down for 2.5 years now. That wiped that clean. But Derrick Rose is still young. Like, the meniscus is not going to derail his career. The meniscus is not career threatening. As long as he gets healthy and it's repaired properly, he rehabs right, he comes back next year. We don't know. We can say he's injury prone now, but he's only 25 years old. So you have Derrick Rose. He's still young. You get the 2 high draft picks. You bring my man over from Europe coming up next year. Taj Gibson is in his prime now. Remember, he was an older rookie when we drafted him. He was like 23 when we drafted him. You still have Noah here. Then you plug pieces with whoever left you have free agents with your cap space. Whether you move Lou Deng and clear cap space, we're going to amnesty Boozer. So that's going to clear up some room anyway. And then, of course, 2014 to 2015? Might be a trying year, but I look at that team could easily be, if you have a healthy Derrick Rose, a 45-win team and could be a second round team. And then 2015, 2016, that could be the year that they can jump up then, because Miami can't be on top forever, Jay. We know that. LeBron is great, don't get me wrong. But one thing we know is with LeBron in Cleveland, he can't do it by himself. So how long can Wade hold up right now? You can take these games off here and there, but how long will they be on top? You don't got to worry about the West. Because the West is going to beat themselves up to whoever comes out.
Right.
So that's just my thing. Let's just go for the tank, get the young bodies, have a 2-year plan, move forward.
Man, like I said, the second that D-Rose got hurt again, I was all in for the tank. So if they can somehow figure out a way to get rid of Deng, they need to. The one thing that I don't want to see happen is, 2 things I don't want to see happen. Him end up walking away in the summer for nothing, or them re-signing him to a $15 million deal. And I don't want to see either of those.
That won't happen. You let him walk. If he demands, like, he's making 14 this year. If he demands, of course, of him being a free agent, he can demand a raise. in the 15, maybe $16 million range, depending on who got cap space. He won't get that. There's no team in the NBA that's going to give him that. But since he's been with the Bulls his whole career, if he demanded that, as much as I hate to see Luol Deng go, I'm like, nah, you got to go if you want that much money. You can't be making more than you can't be making more than just a few million less than Derrick Rose. Put
me on the books right now. Luol Deng will get at least $14 million this summer. At least 14.
No, I think he's going to get. Here's my prediction.
Okay.
I think he gets the Lamar Odom deal. 3 years, $27 million, $9 million a year. If you can get him at that, would you take him back?
I would.
3 years?
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
That way the kid from Europe comes in, and then he can play behind him. You still got Butler, and then of course he's a reasonable contract. So if a contender if the Bulls would not be contending, so then if a team wants to get Luol, then you can trade him because it's a reasonable contract for assets. If you know not working out, you want to move the rookies to starting lineup or whatever happens in that case, or you want to move Butler over to that spot. It won't be a long-term deal. He'll be 32 or 33 when the deal ends. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad deal. If you get him at $9 million, $10 million tops. I'd be happy $10 million tops.
I would max out. Yeah, 3 years, $30 million. I would max out there, but I guarantee you he gets $14 million this summer.
And he gets $14 million with the Bulls.
That's what I'm saying. It better not be with the Bulls. It better not be with the Bulls.
It ain't the Bulls, brother.
It better not be. It better not be. That's a worst case scenario. That's a worst case scenario.
I'd be mad as hell at John Paxson and Gar Forman if they gave Luol. But I love Dang. No, you can't kill your cap space like that. Even when you get rid of a Boozer, who you get to wipe him off the books. You got to cut him and check. You don't got to worry about the cap or the luxury tax. But even with that, I'm sorry. He had to go to maybe you go to Charlotte and get $14 million. Because Charlotte have cap space and they'll do that in a heartbeat. They gave Al Jefferson a whole bunch of money. They can go ahead and get Luol Deng over there and call it a day. They got some little whip. They can go 500.
One more thing before we stop harping on the Bulls, but one deal that I saw that I really liked, I guess it gives us the opportunity to talk about the Andrew Bynum situation up in Cleveland. But
I forgot about that. Yeah, it's the end of the year. Good God! First things first. I just hope that dude cuts his hair. I think that's why they suspended him. He needs to cut his hair. All right.
And I don't know if you had heard some of the reports and stuff that were coming out over the past pretty much 24 hours about why he's suspended indefinitely.
Well, why don't you tell it, JD? I want you to give that information.
All right, I'll share it. And this is all rumor at this point, but a few reputable.
It could be true though with rumors.
Right. A few reputable sources have come out and said that the reason that Andrew Bynum has been suspended indefinitely is because he has been fucking one of the assistant coach's wives. And yeah.
Wait, hold up. Which is the coach? Because my dad's best friend is assistant coach for the Cavs.
Hey, get on the horn. Get on the horn. You need to do some media work.
After we
find out.
Here, it could be the reason why Bernie didn't call us the last week when they were in town. I was wondering why when he get a call from Bernie, he always had tickets on deck for us. All of a sudden, he didn't call the last home game. I'm like, Dad, I said, did Bernie call you? He must have gave the ticket to his sister. I'm like, wait a minute. But at the same time, though, Bernie's wife is like in her 50s or 60s. I don't know if Bernie
probably ain't her.
Chicks like that.
No, it's probably not her. No.
You're making me a little nervous here, man. It's a little me and my family unit here.
Right. But that only leads me to say.
He was phoning the assistant coach's wife.
Yeah, and that's one of the rumors that's been circulating a little bit. Of course, if that ends up leaking out and being true, I can understand why they suspended him because that's causing, especially with the amount of output that Bynum is able to do. His knees are shot. And the only reason why
with the knees he has, he's been playing decent with what he's had this year.
Right. But that's the problem. He's bone on bone, 100%, and that's only going to last for maybe another few weeks if possible. But I don't know exactly what the date is. The only reason why I brought this up was as far as the Luol Deng situation goes, is that I want to say it's January 6th or 7th. Okay. Yeah.
6 is when his contract is fully. It's only guaranteed $6 million. If he gets past the 6, then it's fully guaranteed for the $12 million. But since it's only partially guaranteed, they can try to trade him. Because some team can easily do the trade and then release him and get all the cap space.
Exactly.
Or the Cavs are feeling fine, they can just release him and just cut their ties and call it a day. So the 6 is the cutoff date, which is next week, basically, to see if a team who wants to have a center for rent for the year for $6 million, or you want to get cap space because you can cut them right away.
Right, and that's where the Bulls come into play. The Bulls, if they keep their team as presently constructed, will have their second year in a row in the luxury tax, but and get 1 year closer to that repeater tax, which is something that I know they don't want to jump into once you get to that third year of the luxury tax in a row. But if they were able to swing a trade, Bynum for Dang, and the salaries match straight up, and I would want Cleveland to throw in a first round pick. They have to throw in a pick or something because just to make that a little bit better. But I think
the Bulls do that though, because Cleveland, that would make Cleveland a really good team in the Central, and they will probably re-sign Dang, to pair him with Kyrie Irving to keep him basically. And they got a lot of young nice stuff, but they probably want to move Deion Waiters because he doesn't get along with Kyrie Irving. But I don't want to move him to a rival like that who got a couple of young studs already. Because if you're trying to rebuild and you give one of your key components, then that's helping the enemy. Kind of like how Boston doing a deal with the New York Knicks. You really don't see that too often, unless it's the deal that works best for both teams. That's not a team that works best for both teams because Boston don't want to start. And could you imagine him and Noah in the locker room, all that hair and them personalities?
I don't think
that can not work.
I don't think they would hold on to Bynum. They get him and then immediately release him before that, the 6th of January.
Okay, I can see that. But you have to get a draft pick in a deal like that.
Right, exactly.
Like that. Multiple picks. You want a first and a second.
Right, exactly.
To do something like that.
You would be able to do that. You'd be able to clear your books a little bit, get under that repeater tax, and save that for another point once your team's a little bit more stacked and ready to go. I can't really see too much downside for doing that. It would suck to lose Dang pretty much for nothing except for that draft pick at the end of the day. But I don't really think the Bulls' prognosis for re-signing him is going to be that good. And if you're able to let him go and basically get nothing in return besides a draft pick, you're increasing your chance for the tank. So we're good to go with the tank.
Let's switch gears here to end the show off here.
Yes.
Enough Chicago talk to people who listen nationwide or worldwide. We got worldwide fans, So we're going to go to fighting. That's both our specialties. You MMA, I'm boxing.
Yes, sir.
I won't go too deep in a few topics here because I'm going to say that for your other show.
Yeah.
I want you guys to go into details on that. I want to watch and see how you guys go into this here. Anderson Silva on Saturday night. That had to be one of the worst breaks I ever saw in my entire life. He literally had a leg up on Weidman. He threw with a left thrust kick. Weidman used his shin to block it. And at one point when you slow it down, his leg wrapped around his leg when it snapped and then snapped back. Snapbacks and tattoos. You know what I'm saying? Really. Besides Joe Theismann, when Lawrence Taylor broke his leg, I think that's like when 83, I believe it was, 83, 84, whatever that year that was. Have you ever seen anything in fighting, JD, with a break that bad?
I was going to say in fighting, that's just about as bad as I've seen it. Of course, you got the Theismann injury that was horrible, and then you got old boy from Louisville last year. That was the worst that I'd ever seen.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes.
That was by far the worst that I've ever seen.
Oh my God. I was watching it eating some food. I was like, is that a bone?
Right.
I literally was eating some chicken that day over a friend's house when that bone popped. I was like, oh my God. But just seeing that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to think.
Right. The only thing that I hated about it is that the first matchup between Silva and Weidman was controversial. Because Silva was playing around a whole lot and ended up getting knocked out and losing the fight. The second fight, Weidman had probably won the first round. He looked pretty good in the first round. Silva looked like he was, ready to really turn things on in the second round, and then the break happened and it ended. And it just sucks when you don't get things solved in the arena or in the octagon or in the ring or on the court or on the field. Like whenever there's something that sort of muddies the viewpoint or the outcome of the fight, I hate that. So I was really disappointed just to see that it didn't get an ending either way. I thought that Silva was going to win that fight. I definitely picked him, but it was one of those situations where even if he would have lost, I would have felt better if it would have been a loss where he just got defeated as opposed to getting defeated.
Because he is 38, he'll be 39 in a couple of months. So if he went the full 5 rounds, like, well, the dude he's 38. You know, you can make the argument like, okay, he's just, you know, he put up a good fight, but maybe just past his time right now. It's just it's a freak injury that's like, really, you know, you waited like what 5 or 6 months since the first fight because they did an immediate rematch. Like, cause I didn't think he was gonna take that immediate rematch, JD. I'll be honest with you, the way he was playing around and the way he got cold cocked, I'm like, he gonna take some time off. He may take another match and then fight him in 2014. I wasn't expecting him to come back that soon. Was it 6 months later, 7 months later? For the immediate rematch. That caught me off guard. I didn't see that coming. I'm like, wow. I mean, that's the kind of guy Silva is. He's like, hey, forget it. I just want this dude right now. So, I mean, you know, from my angle now, from the boxing angle, see, Roy Jones had fought about a week ago. Yeah, he's still fighting at 45 years old, unfortunately. You know, dude was bad in his prime. You know, pound for pound, best in the 90s and early 2000s. You know,
definitely.
If Silva would have won, there would have been a boxing fight between Anderson Silva and Roy Jones. Now, as soon as that break happened, I was like, I even hit you up on Facebook. I was like, I don't think this fight's going to happen. You know what Roy Jones said? You want to hear what Roy Jones said yesterday, JD?
Yeah, what did he say?
He said the fight still can happen because he can rehab and you don't use your legs in boxing. You know, you rehab, you work on your lateral movement, we still get the fight on. I was like, wow. Yeah. He said he can go ahead and it'll be a big fight. They can make some good money. If he loses, he can retire. If he wins, hey, he's the better man. That's exactly what Roy Jones said. He was front row at the MGM Grand watching that fight, hoping that Silva would win.
Right.
Roy Jones is still, after I said the fight was over, Roy Jones is actually saying, hey, the fight still can happen. He gonna wait for him. He's 45 now. Maybe 46 to 47 years old when that fight may happen.
Yeah,
but the fight still can happen, JD. Just want to put that out there to you.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of crossover events like that. I just think it makes a circus act out of both guys. There's no need to. I mean, you're not proving anything. Whatever arena they decide to do it in, whether it's if they decide to make it a boxing fight, the big time edge will go to Roy Jones. If they decide to make it an MMA fight, the big time edge will go to Silva. So.
But it'll be just strictly boxing. It won't be MMA. It'll be a boxing fight.
Well, Roy will win that. I mean, it's something you can't. No matter how much practice Anderson Silva has with his boxing, he can't compare anywhere closely to somebody who even as of a decade ago was one of the greatest of all time. And you don't
even
lose.
a shot Roy Jones can fuck anybody up in any given day.
Oh, of course.
And on the street, he can walk the street and fuck anybody up. A shot Roy Jones right now can walk up, he's like, bink, and it's a wrap.
And you don't lose that. He'll be an older fighter at that point, but that talent and that skill is still going to be there, and it's not going to compare to somebody who only at the most 50% of the time works on their boxing. And I know that Silva doesn't work on his boxing like that. So, even for him to come back and, I think that his career is probably over as far as MMA is concerned because, at the age that he's at and, trying to come back to a sport.
He'll be at least 40 if he doesn't make a comeback. He'll be at least 40. Because he'll be 39 coming up. It's going to be at least a good year before the bones actually healed, go through the rehab, and he's walking normally again. And then you got to go through regular training again, for MMA this. You got to go through the whole rigors to get yourself back to that peak form. And him being older age at 40, that's a little bit long. That's going to be a little bit longer on your body to get to that point, especially after a long rehab like that. So I don't see, if he has to drive and he wants to keep fighting, more power to him. But Priscilla's made money in the sport. He hasn't made a super lot of money, but he's money. He's set financially for life. Unless he don't go on shopping sprees, and blow it all like Bow Wow. I know he ain't like Bow Wow spend his money, but he's good right now. I don't want to see him come back. If it's a farewell fight where he comes back and he's not fighting a top guy, but he's want to show that I don't mind those type of things. I don't want to see him come back against Weidman at 41 and then get his ass handed to him. I don't want to see that.
No, I don't either. I hope that he's able to get himself healthy. But yeah, as far as being a contender in that division, and that division is is pretty stacked too. So there's no way that he's going to be able to come back and already having sort of diminished skills. And then I don't know if you got the chance to see it, but before the fight started, before the pay-per-view event started, they had the sort of the recap of the last fight, and you got to see all the behind the scenes stuff before the fight and immediately afterwards. And as soon as the fight was over, Usher was hanging out with Silva or whatever back, in the dressing room and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird too. But
were they saying yeah?
No, it was weird. Like right after it was over, Anderson Silva was kind of talking to Usher, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm finished. Like it's over." Like, and he said it a few times. So if he felt like that at the end of that fight, I could only imagine that he feels even more like that at this point. And knowing what type of rehab and everything that he would have, facing him over the next, probably 9 to 12 months. So, I would think he's done. And he doesn't. What else does he have to prove at this point too? He's the greatest MMA fighter of all time. Greatest MMA fighter of all time.
No more. Save it for the kick-up and makeup show.
I will. Sorry. I get rolling. I'm like you. Once I start getting rolling.
Yeah, you're good right now. I want you to say that for y'all on the show. Yes. I want you to say the details for that.
Yeah, we record tomorrow too.
I check that out.
Tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Let's do some rapid fire to close the show here.
Yes, sir.
Ronda Rousey. Talked about her when we started the show here. 8-0 now on MMA now. The girl's a beast at 135.
Yes,
I watched that. I mean, she's got great balance, hip control, strong legs in the lower body. You didn't think I was watching all this stuff for MMA, JD. I watched.
I know.
I will take your job on picking up a makeup and look out. No, but she has great lower body, her extremities, way she moves, how she gets, her angle is, how she works on her toes. She is phenomenal. I gotta give her, I fucks with her hard body. Now, before we start the show, people, me and JD had a disagreement. Because, of course, they didn't shake hands before the fight started. I was like, oh, yeah, this is about to be some good shit right here. They don't like each other. Because there's a lot of trash talking for the promo. Normally you have trash talk like that, it's to sell the fights. But there is really a hate, for Cupcake and Ronda Rousey, And after Rousey made a tap out, make a tap out. She tried to shake her hand. Ronda's like, looked at her like, yeah, fuck you, and kept it moving. I liked it. You said you didn't. Real fast. Why don't you like it?
Cause, man, I like you said, there's, maybe there's a genuine hate between those two, but I got a chance to watch the entire Ultimate Fighter season where Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate were coaching opposite teams, and just to see, them going back and forth, and especially Ronda being a complete bitch, like just being. I'm not a fan. I love her ability, but her persona is too much sometimes. And it was one thing when I knew less about her before the Ultimate Fighter, but to just see her consistently be a bitch, it's one thing if you get a glimpse of a bitch. But when I get to see you week in, week out being a bitch, I get mad. And to see.
So you said it's okay if she's a glimpse bitch.
Yeah.
Now you see the full bitch. Yeah. You can't fuck with that.
I can't fuck with the consistent bitch.
So she was a GB, a glimpse bitch. You be cool with that.
Yeah, that's good. But the CB, the consistent bitch, I can't fuck with.
Oh, the consistent bitch, but was the GB, you good. No CB, but GB.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like gang status. Here's where I fuck with it really fast. I hate it when people are fake, JD. If you don't like a person, don't shake their hand talking about be a good sport. Nah, fuck that. I'm tired of fake people. I'm tired of fighting. I mentioned this in boxing. I'm tired of all the guys always saying, you know what, he's a good fighter, may the best man win. No! They're in the ring. They're fighting. They could possibly die doing what they're doing. There has to be a disdain, dislike for that person to get you to a certain point to pummel someone's ass, whether it's in MMA or in boxing. So if you get a real case, in certain cases, of course, you're trying to sell the fight. Floyd Mayweather is the king of it, who's not the most action fighter, but can sell a fight where everybody's watching. And afterwards, he's like, I want to thank everybody for buying pay-per-view, everybody who came to the MGM Grand. I want to thank Al Heyman. That's different. Floyd's a showman. But when you got Ronda Rousey or anybody who you really don't like the person, I want to see that. Because that's what real fight is. When you fight somebody, you really don't truly like that person. You hit them in the face and you blood their eye, bust their lip, give them a concussion, break their arm, or Silver's leg gets cracked and shit like that, you know. If you really hate the person, fuck a handshake. I want to see the real, alright? I love real. You don't like it, show me, and I fuck with it. Even if you see me a consistent bitch. If you don't like the other bitch, let me know you don't like the other bitch. If I already know you're a GB, you're a glitz bitch. I don't care. I want to see real. If you don't like them, I like the show, JD. I like the whole human element. I don't want to see at the end all the time. We're just trying to hype the fight. No. Because if you go out the streets right now and you fight someone, JD, after the fight, or you whoop that dude's ass, you're not going to be shaking that dude's hand. You be like, yeah, try it again and see what happens next time, right?
True.
And that's what Ronda was doing. When she looked at her, she started shaking her hand. Nah, try it again next time, see what happens. That's what that was. That's why, even though she's a CB in your terms, that's why I fuck with her. Because you don't like her, don't shake that hand. Keep that hand. Give me that belt, baby. Give me the belt.
Hey, you know what? That's a super compelling argument, bro. That's a super compelling argument. Like I'm not gonna change my mind, but that's a super compelling argument.
I'm not trying to change your mind, but
I know.
When you're in the fight, you know.
I know.
Let's say we get off this show right now, and you go outside and you see someone, he bump into you, and he steps on your Jordans, the paddler, the one I'm trying to steal from you, the 96 joints, you know, and he steps on him, put a nice little smudge on the snow. You can go ahead and pummel the fuck out of him. After it's done, you say, "Don't you dare step on my shoes again." You're not gonna shake his hand. You gonna kick him with that stuff part of the shoe. I'm like, yeah, try it again, motherfucker. And that's it then. That's what all fighters should be. You know, if there's a disdain hate, go for it. Let us know. I hate you. I want the whole world to know. I hate you. I don't like you. I want to fuck you up. And when it's done, I'm keeping this belt. I'm getting paid. I'm a party. I'm gonna get the Methuselah bottles, fuck Cristal, and get it
in. Okay.
Sorry, I got a little amped up, folks.
No, I feel it.
Okay. Should we, real fast here, just the last topic here, we're going to end the show here. Adrian Broner. No, that's about boxing. Got his ass whooped against Marcus Medina. True total ass whooping. You know, but here's one thing I want to say before we close out here. People talk about he talks a big mouth. He's always he's always doing some showman shit, that's off the wall. He got sex tapes and stuff like that. I look at the bright line, right? He got his ass kicked, but he kept fighting for 12 rounds. So for anybody that said, oh yeah, I'm glad he got his ass beat, take away his personality. One thing that I saw, JD, that we saw that Adrian Broner is really a fighter. Because the way he was getting hit and taking those punches, he kept fighting back. And there was points in the 7th, 8th, and 9th round with Marcus Medina that he hurt Medina. And Medina actually admitted that I was hurt in the 11th round. He said, he got me. He admitted to it, so he didn't give up. So my points on this, we can talk about Broner later, next year, 2014, we get the beginning year and see the who's going to fight who and things of that nature. I don't think this is a setback for Broner. Because I think that he was so cocky, he moved up too fast. People forget, though, that fight happened on December 14th at 147 pounds welterweight. I text you guys, at the weigh-in, he was 144. And in boxing, those 3 pounds mean that much if you're weighing that less for welterweight. People forget that 8.5 months earlier, he was fighting at 135. He skipped 140 because there was no fights at 140, and then went to 147 against Paul Malignaggi, and then went against Marcus Medina. So, if anything, yeah, he shouldn't be talking as much. He's too braggadocious. Unlike Floyd. Floyd had the skills to pay the bill to back everything up. But Floyd was 10 years in the game before he became money. You know what I'm saying? He was pretty boy Floyd. He wasn't like that, you know what I'm saying? But I think this may humble Broner to the point that he can't be like that. But if he goes down to a lower weight class like 140, or he has a belt at 135, I think this is a bump in the road. Because there's a lot of great fighters who have lost fights and came back and been better than ever or became an all-time great. Mm-hmm. So, the one loss, it all depends on the mentality and him only being 24 years old. He needs to be, everybody says he needs to be humble. Maybe he took a step back from the antics that he has. but he knows he's a moneymaker, and that maybe he can still be off the wall, but he's not over the top. That's just my 2 cents on Adrian Broner close it out here.
Yeah, I mean, and just watching that fight, you know, it was one of those ones where I wasn't shocked at the outcome or anything like that, because, you know, we've seen Medina fight before, or Medina fight, and like, I mean, you kind of could predict that something like that was in the realm of possibility. But the only thing that, you know, like you said, if he takes this as a professional and say, okay, I need to go back to the drawing board and really work on my craft, you know, really figure out exactly what I did wrong, some of the strategical things that I did wrong, and, you know, come back a better fighter, even if it is at 147, you know, give him a little extra time to get comfortable with that weight, so that he's actually, you know, in the
short, he's
right, exactly, and actually get to that, you know, where he's, you know, maybe getting towards walking around in the 150s as opposed to walking, you know, in the low 140s and trying to get up to a certain weight, you know, like like you said, that stuff makes all the difference in the world. Those 3 pounds mean a lot.
People don't realize those 3 pounds mean so much in boxing, these lower weight classes. Like I was playing before we go, I saw Deontay Wilder this last fight away eating ice cream, making fun of He's like, man, I got 4% body fat. I can eat He's eating ice cream on a scale. He's like, man, this is good ass ice cream. 228. He's like 228. See? Knock dude out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, but the 3 pounds in a lower weight class, that means so much, because they have nutritionists, they have specialists, strength and conditioning coach. Each pound, the way they work themselves out can mean so much for power, speed, things of that nature. And one last thing here. One thing about Broner, when he was at 135 and 130, remember, he was at 135 in February. He was fighting at 130 last year. This time last year he was at 130 pounds. Mm-hmm. You know, so he hits hard enough where he can throw less punches. You go to 147, you haven't translated your power yet. So the problem with Medina was he didn't establish a jab. You got to throw more punches to keep that dude at bay. Medina just saw that he wasn't throwing enough punches, bull rushed him, closed the gap where he could take away Broner's power, what he did have, and get in the inside and land when he landed. Now, Broner changed the game plan. So, you know what? If I'm going to be this bigger weight class, I got to keep the guy at bay. I got faster hands than anybody right now. Just keep throwing the jab, keep him out there. So the guy like Medina, like, okay, I can't get in. I can't move in like that, you know? And then that sets up for his hook and his uppercuts he's known for, basically. Especially the overhand hook that he does. You know, just simple things like that. It's a subtle change that I just got to be more active, and it'll be a different outcome. But that's for another show. We can go into details of the skills that Broner has and what he should have done. You know, but he got his ass kicked. Everybody gets an ass kicked at least once. Floyd hasn't happened yet. You know, more power to him. You know, but hey, it's boxing. Muhammad Ali got his ass whooped several times. He's the greatest of all time. I'm not comparing Broner. I want to be able to say, yo, you should compare Broner to Ali. No, I'm just saying in boxing, guys do lose. You know, look at the NBA. The Heat won 65 games last year, and they lost 17 games. The best do lose every once in a while. You know, so it's not a bad thing. As long as he takes it the right way in stride.
Right, exactly, and that's what he needs to do. I'm a big proponent of learning things and losses, and he definitely got his ass kicked, so he should be able to go back to the drawing board and humble himself a little bit, because and then too, like, you know, think about all the stuff that he was in the news for leading up to this fight, and you have to think that.
He had a threesome with 2 light-skinned chicks. You see the sex tape, JD?
Yes.
He had 2 light-skinned chicks. He had one girl eating out the other girl while he was boning the other girl, you know, a missionary style. I was like, what, is that Adrian? I said, wait a minute, is that Adrian Broner? It's like, the fight's like a month and a half away.
That's what I'm saying, like, and you have to think that, right, and you have to think that he's, you know, that he wasn't exactly focused on the fight if you out there being reckless like that. Like, it's one thing to be reckless like that behind closed doors, but to have something like that leak out, that just puts a whole different spin on things, and it makes people doubt you. So, you know, I'm expecting him to come out in the next fight against an opponent who we could probably handle, but, you know, just to reestablish himself and show people what they, you know, what they expect to see out of him in the future.
Next show, JD, we got to talk about Floyd Mayweather for 2014. He'll be 37 in February. He's still going strong. So for our fans out there, we got to talk about Floyd. People hate him. People love him. People want to see him lose. People want to see money on TV. So the next show, we got to talk about Floyd, you know, and then more tank for the Bulls. You know, shout out to the Eastern Conference, the Eastern Conference, for only having 3 500 teams. You know, will Indiana beat Miami the next show? We got to talk about the two. Miami, Indiana, that little rivalry building up right now because, you know, Paul George is coming up to the forefront. We got to talk about that. So let's throw some little items on the table for it to come back.
Oh, no doubt, man. Sports is always going to be going. So we'll always have tons of things to talk about.
You got anything to add before we close out here, JD?
I'm pretty.
Okay. And for everybody watching the video here, this red cup is not lean. It's not the purple drink. It's root beer with the roots. Okay? You know, I don't know if you can see. Brown. All right. No alcohol. Just letting y'all know. Everybody, if you're watching this, he got a red styrofoam. He got the red cup out. You know, I'm drinking root beer, people. So on that note, we're going to close the show out here on our first video show in a long time. It's been about a year since we did a video show, give or take, you know.
Yeah.
So I want to give a mad shout out to JD. That's my man. Even though we argue, you know, after it's all said and done, I still love my nigga from Iowa. It's all good. Watch his facial expression change. Yes, exactly. So on that note, you know, no blacksmith. Hopefully, you know, if he gets his act right, we may hire him back, you know, to the jump off. But if you ain't got anything else, JD, I'm that dude named Dave, and we're going to sign off, and we appreciate you watching and listening. Jump off.